That's a powerful word. You'll get knocked down many times chasing your dreams. You will feel like you don't have the energy to get back up. You don't have the strength to get back up. You will feel like giving up is the only option. When you're hit, when you've been knocked down by life, that's when it's time to hit back. That's when it's time to hit back. Many people get hit by life, but they never hit back.
Are you going to stay down, or are you going to decide to get back up? It takes courage. It takes confidence. It takes a strong mindset to get back up when nobody believes in you.
There's a lion inside all of us, but some people decide to never let that lion out. Many people keep that lion locked in his cage. Are you hungry for that dream? Are you willing to fight for that dream?
Let the lion out. Get hungry for your dream. Go hunt your dream. Talking about that dream won't take you far. Working will.
Doubters will tell you to be realistic. Haters will tell you to quit.
You are the only one who can go and get it. It's your dream. No one will chase it for you. No one will hunt for you. No one will support your dream but you.
There's a quote that goes, everyone wants to eat, but a few are willing to hunt. Everyone wants to succeed, but few are willing to put in the work required.
Stop limiting yourself. You can make your dream into a reality, but it will only take one person to believe that it's possible. It will only take one person to put in the work. That person is you.
There's plenty of humans before you who have accomplished big things, who are living their dream life. They've done it. That is proof you can too. It is proof that you can live your dream if you really want it.
You are the most dangerous enemy to your dreams because only you decide when to quit and give up on your dreams. Only you decide when to kill these dreams. You're more powerful than you even know. You can change the world with your dream. But it only requires you to get out of your comfort zone and unleash the inner lion. It requires you to let the lion out of its cage. It requires you to chase your dreams no matter what.
If you have a weak mindset, if you're afraid of taking risks, you will never get far in life. You will never get that dream with a weak mindset.
Create a mindset that keeps you moving even when others quit.
Life is unpredictable. It's full of surprises. You might be closer than you think. Your dream can become a reality if you refuse to quit.
Be like a lion. Never back down from the challenges you face. A lion never stops chasing his prey until it catches it. You never stop chasing your dream until you live it.
Dream big and never let small minds convince you that your goal is out of reach. It may be out of reach for them, but you know better. Believe in yourself.
If you are in the way of my goals and dreams, I suggest you move.
You're listening to TW3 Radio, inspiring, informative, and entertaining talk and music for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
Life. How beautiful it is. How amazing it is to be able to rise up in the morning and have that sun shine on your face rather than on your grave. What makes life so unique and so beautiful? It is beautiful because whatever you have that you may be facing, what you may be dealing with, life is still good. Life has so many moving parts, but life is always good. Every day is a new day and another opportunity
that others may not have. This life that you have been given, this life that you are temporarily holding on to, this life that has been just given to you for only temporary reasons, has more meaning than you can ever imagine. So many people in the world take life for granted instead of realizing that you have to take the opportunity to live it the best way you know how. Now, on this journey of life, you're gonna face a significant amount of circumstances, a significant amount of challenges. You're gonna fall into areas that you cannot understand. And maybe it's not in a position for you to understand at that moment. When you start to feel that you are in a position that you don't love your life, then shame on you. Because your life is a beautiful thing. And no one deserves to ruin it. No one deserves to control it. No one deserves to steal your joy. Your life is your life, and you have the right to live it the best way you can. You must discipline yourself and take full control and responsibility for the outcome or whatever it is that you are seeking at this moment. There are gonna be so many different things that you will embark on. There are gonna be so many different things that's gonna try to slow you down. There are gonna be so many different challenges that you must face. But instead of running away from the challenge, run towards the challenge. Be able to understand that life has meaning. It has reason. And all of these things that you may be thinking that is so hard on you, just remember, sometimes you're gonna have to go through these changes, these circumstances that puts you in a position to make you feel that you're not worthy anymore. But make no mistake, you are worthy. You were created for something. You wasn't created for nothing. Life has a gift of giving, a gift of receiving. And whether if it's good or bad, you got to make sure you understand that these circumstances and these challenges has to happen in your life. You will come to a point that you may feel that you are in a hopeless situation. You may come to a point in your life where you're at the end of a rope and the only thing left to do is to climb up, because you only can do so much for so long. But make sure you're doing much more instead of doing less. Stop stressing about the things that you cannot control and start focusing on the things that you have control of. Take control of your life. Take control of the opportunities. Believe in yourself. And know that it is not over for you. So many people out there in this world right now will try to tell you not to be something that you feel in your heart that you want to be. So many people out there right now are miserable, and they'll try their best to take you with them. Do not let misery control the life that you have. Do not let anyone tell you how to live it. Do not let anyone validate your purpose. Do not let anyone validate your destiny. Someone told you a long time ago that you wasn't worthy. Someone looked you in the eye and said you wasn't gonna make it. I say to you right now that you will make it. I say to you right now that you must make it. I say to you right now that you must tell excuses, fear, and doubt that it has no place in your place of business. For this is your life that you are fighting for. This is your life that you are living for. And make no mistake, no one is gonna do you better than you. Don't wait for something to happen. You make it happen. You make it happen for a reason. And take full responsibility and control of this thing we call life.
Inspiring, informative, and entertaining talk and music. You're listening to TW3 Radio.
How could a man hit a target he could not see? That's a pretty good question. Here's another one. How can you hit a target you do not have? Besides, planes are built for flying. Ships are built for sailing. Houses are built for living. And man, too, was built for purpose. He was designed for accomplishment. He's engineered for success. He's endowed with the seeds of greatness. And the greatest danger we as human beings have is when we do not do anything at all. People today complain of lack of time. It's not lack of time that's the problem, it's the lack of direction. Are you a wandering generality, or are you a meaningful specific? Are you going to work tomorrow because that's what you did yesterday? If that's the reason you're going tomorrow, you won't be as good tomorrow as you were yesterday because you're 2 days older and no closer to the goal you do not have. What about you personally? Have you got your goals laid out? Are you a meaningful specific, or are you a wandering generality?
See, you are part of an equation, and you are needed. Part of why we should begin to look at how we give up our lives, that we've got to begin to see, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is my life work? And then give ourselves to that. Because as we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you, as you begin to take on this new era that we're in, if you decide that I'm going to begin to start living life, I'm going to start giving more of myself, I'm going to start putting out more, contributing more to life. Here's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you that life will take on a whole new meaning for you. I guarantee you that life takes on a whole new dimension. That you'll be happier, you have a greater sense of happiness and fulfillment in life, that now you will begin to take off on some new paths to some newer horizons. That you'll begin to see life totally different than most people.
You got to have those long-range goals. And the rule is a simple one. You go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll always be able to see further. Are you a wandering generality, or are you a meaningful specific?
And most of us go through life because we're not using that which we've been given, that we are punished, that we're going through life getting up in the morning with no reason to get up. There's a scripture, when I heard it, I couldn't understand it. I say, how cold? He that hath shall get, and he that hath not, even that he has shall be taken away. He that hath a generous view of life, he that has courage, he that hath initiative, he that hath resourcefulness.
I say it with all of my heart. I know in my mind that man was designed for accomplishment, that he's engineered for success, that he is endowed with the seeds of greatness.
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, home of TW3, the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Thank you, Keith. Everybody, welcome to TerryWilson3.com. This is episode 435, and we're excited.
We're off the cuff today.
We're off the cuff. There are no show notes.
No show notes.
We're just winging this.
That's dangerous.
So who knows what'll happen?
Now how do I know what I can't say? I have a general idea, but it's always helpful to have the notes.
Yeah, I think with no notes here, we could get in some serious trouble.
Well, I heard you had a pretty interesting conversation, and you took it really well, very calm, cool, and collected. Didn't lose your mind at all.
No,
actually.
Not at all.
That's good. That's good.
Didn't go fangirl at all.
That's good. Yeah, the first thing
I was cool.
That's what Gabby told me. The first thing when I saw her, she was like, "Dad lost his mind."
That's what I heard when I got home. That's what I heard.
Is that what you heard?
He fangirled like I met Taylor Swift or something. I was like, did he meet somebody from Chicago? She was like, oh yeah. He had a conversation with him. I was like, oh, and she was like, an interview. And I was like, oh, I see. I see.
Well, if you're a Beatles fan, it's like meeting Paul McCartney.
Right. Yeah, sure.
If you are, what's the group? Foo Fighters. It's like meeting and calling Dave Grohl and hanging up on him because you're nervous.
Right. Yeah, I don't even know if River remembers this story, but that was when we were younger. He was like 8, and River was always good with technology, and he found a leaked Dave Grohl phone number. Of course, we just assumed it was fake, but he was like, no, look at this. They leaked his phone number. Look. And I was like, okay. And he was like, no, watch. And he grabs my phone and he calls. And I mean, if you know who Dave Grohl is, he's got a very distinct, like, hey, this is Dave. Like, he's got this really...
like he's working a drive-through or something.
I mean, he's just like a really nice guy, and he's got this distinct voice, but he answers, and it's just clear as day, that's Dave Grohl. And I'm like, Mr. Grohl? River grabs the phone, just like, we're the biggest fans. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, that was the coolest 2 seconds of my life.
It's cool. It's cool to meet the people you sort of have looked up to, sort of been a hero, and they don't disappoint. Because I have met people.
Yeah. That saying, never meet your heroes.
Yeah. Because sometimes it can be disappointing.
Sure. Yeah.
But this one wasn't. It was cool. So the next episode of the TerryWilson3.com podcast is going to be a live interview I had with the lead singer and artist known as Bill Champlin from the group Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Did they get inducted finally?
They finally got deducted or inducted or whatever. Conducted.
They were already inducted. They took them out.
You're out of here.
That's the first one of its kind. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was 2016 they got inducted.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. They've been out there since 1968.
So
touring. I'm
sort of following you up some serves here because I know I've heard all these stories before, but why is it that they weren't inducted sooner? Because Well, there was some relationship problems between them and Rolling Stone,
with the Rolling Stone magazine and stuff like that, and so they weren't on good speaking terms. And even though I love the band,
they're pretty counterculture for the time too.
They're very counterculture for the time, and not only that, they don't play well. I mean, they've got a reputation for being a little bit what's the word? It's not arrogant or anything. It's not that. It's just
pompous.
No, it's just they do them, and they don't go along to get along. Well, I mean, they're a rock and roll band founded by a bunch of horn players.
Yeah,
so they don't come from the same cloth that a lot of rock bands do anyway. But it was fun to interview Bill. There's going to be a ton of great stories that he's going to share. We're in the process of chopping it up and some great stories, and it's going to be fun. But
chopping it.
Yeah, chopping. Well, there were a couple things that
when you talk to a big rock star that says whatever he wants.
Yeah, the thing I love
They're
about
gonna do them.
Yeah, he's him. He's not here to impress, and he says it like he sees it. And there's going to be a lot of things that would surprise people that won't make the cut. I'm not going to put it. That you would think one thing based on the way that band evolved and where they came out of the late 60s and all that was going on in society then. And they've got a volume of music that was speaking to a lot of things that was going on in that time period. And you would assume certain attitudes and mindsets would be one way, especially since you've seen the inaugurations that they have opened up for.
Sure. Yeah.
But you can't just throw people all in one.
People are complex.
People are very complex, and we live in a very weird time.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of unique to hear things that it's like, oh, that's surprising. I wasn't expecting that. So it was a very interesting time. There's going to be a lot of business lessons that I'm telling you guys you're going to get from it. So it's going to be cool there. So I can't wait that. And I can't announce some of the other things, but that's just the first one.
Yeah.
We've got an athlete that we're going to have on that a movie was made about. That has committed to doing it. We've got some other entrepreneurial leaders that teach on leadership that's coming in. So it's going to be an exciting last quarter, I think, here in our little podcast.
You're stepping your podcast game up.
I'm telling you what, I keep.
Well, if I can make a request, you could get Bill Burr on here. I think that'd be awesome.
We'll reach out to his people. We might be able to use the first 30 seconds.
No. Leave it all in. I'm be in my element. This guy's angry all the time. I love it.
This guy's irritated. I like him. But anyway, tonight, guys, this is a special show because some of the training, the elite training, and I'll tell you why this happened. The elite training I gave Wednesday night, I thought to myself, if I don't act on this, I'm a hypocrite. How can I give some of this training and not do what I'm saying to do? And then I asked the elite members, should I share this to the public? Because it's a mindset thing, but I think it's invaluable. And they said, yeah, you need to get this out there. And so we're going to tonight. And I got to thinking, I was like, I really, because I was challenged in my own mastermind group that I attend with Cliff, Ravenscraft, and some of these other guys. Terry, you need to do, because they was challenging me. What's your highest goal right now? What would you like to achieve? And I was like, well, I would like, because our podcast is getting tons of downloads, we're reaching a lot of people, but I'd like to expand our audience in different ways to bring, because I think mindset and entrepreneurialism cuts cross culture.
Sure.
And sometimes if you can get into sports and in music in different areas and in pop culture, people that have a mind for going in a certain direction or achieving more, they would never have heard our podcast or been exposed had we not. And so I was just saying, I really think I would like in this last quarter to up my game, but I'm just real hesitant about reaching out to, because I don't want to be one of those guys.
Sure.
And they challenged me, and I was like, okay. And so I was doing this training Wednesday night that we're about to share, and it just that night I was like, I'm going to have to act on this. Otherwise I can't teach this.
But I mean, look what happened.
I mean, Thursday I send out, a request and through the management. Friday I say, hey, let's do this. This sounds great, Terry. Here's my personal cell. Give me a call. And I'm thinking, well, we'll just set up a time. And then it turns into an hour and a half conversation and interview. So it was just pretty interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting and pretty cool, and I had fun. And yeah, I did fangirl a little bit. But guys, when we get back, we're going to go into that training. And then after that, you're going to hear me do an interview with a longtime friend of mine, a bandmate back when we played in band together. Music fan and just entrepreneur in his own right. He has had several different companies. He's a great guy, newest elite member here at TW3, and I want you to hear his story and hear my conversation with him. After the training, we'll do that interview. So tonight, I mean, you getting double for your money. Great show and great time right after this. Well, it does seem like from the mid 70s to the mid 80s, you were singing background just about for everyone. I mean, it's a who's who list.
It's weird because during that period of time, it was just sort of when what we now refer to as West Coast music was just picking up. And a lot of it had to do with Toto. A lot of it had to do with Foster. I happen to be in the middle of it.
Hey guys, I want to tell you, you don't want to miss our live podcast coming up October the 12th at 9 p.m. We're scheduled to play my interview with a longtime hero of mine. I've loved his music for years. I've loved the band he's been in. The lead singer for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame group Chicago, Bill Champlin, will be here in the TW3 studios. We recorded the interview, and I tell you, we went over a ton of stuff. And you're saying, well, Terry, this is a business show. Well, I'm telling you, to create wealth, to create products, takes creativity and artistry. And what better way to illustrate the creativity and artistry required to go to the top levels than a Grammy Award, double Grammy Award winning vocalist, artist, musician. Been in the game for a long time. He's got a lot of insights, and I can't wait to share that live interview I had with him with you this coming October the 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've loved his music. You've loved it for years. Now you get to hear straight from the artist that created it, wrote it, sung it, and bringing it to you to show you how you can take your money, your business, and your life to new levels.
I was at the White House one time, and Hillary Clinton walked by me, and I just happened to say, "Nice shack you got here." And she looked at me and she said, "It's amazing what you can get with public housing these days."
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com. Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner. And now, back to the TW3 studios with Terry Wilson.
All right, so we're back. Let's go ahead and get into that training.
So tonight, I want to talk to you about how to accomplish any goal. And more importantly, this is going to sound very counterintuitive to you elite members. I know this is going to, it's like, Terry, how am I going to train my clients and even say this without them wanting to throw something at me? Well, you have to do the same thing I'm going to with them that I'm doing with you, and that is this. Give me a moment to unfurl this, unfold it, and let you see what I'm talking about. Because what I'm talking about is probably the reason why a lot of people, they get a program, whether it be ours or something else, and they go into it and they immediately on the get-go, in the takeoff of a business and launching a business, they sabotage themselves. So I want to show you how to accomplish any goal, whether it be launching a business, losing weight, anything you want to do. I want to show you exactly what you have to do to accomplish that. And more importantly, I want to show you why seeking how-tos are keeping you broke. When I say broke, it could be financially broke from getting your goals, broke from losing that weight, broke from whatever. But this is going to be on how you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. You can do it. Okay? You know, within reason. You can't fly. I'm talking about if it's humanly possible. If other people can do it, if other people have done it, other people with similar scenarios with you. In other words, I'm not saying other people that are Einsteins, you know, rocket engineers, brain surgeons. I'm talking about if you're average Joe, if the aggregate of people that you look at, if you are in the bell curve of the ones that you have the same pedigree of intelligence and background, if the common person can do it, is what I'm saying. If they can do it, then can the average person lose weight unless they got a health problem or something? Can the average person come onto a business opportunity and launch their own business? Yes, because the average people are doing it every day. So I'm going to show you how you can accomplish this and do it immediately. Get on the right foot. You might not get your goal immediately, but you can immediately start making traction. Because one of the things that happens to people is they spend days, weeks, months, years before the actual output, the actual energy that they're doing is actually bringing any results. I met with a trainer last week and found out that, you know, half the stuff I'm doing is not doing anything for me. It's hurting me. I'm walking away hurt. I've got pain. But it's not helping me. It's not advancing. So I was like, you know, it pays to talk to people. It pays to have an expert come in and say, this is what you're doing. So here's how to accomplish any goal And then more importantly, why seeking how-tos are keeping you broke. See, stop asking the wrong question. Everybody has a same question when you get them involved with a business, and we're talking about TW3 Elite. So if you're bringing them in as a TW3 member, then the first question is, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? How do I do that? How? Terry, how do I build a landing page? How do I build a sales funnel? Terry, how do I create ad copy that converts? Listen, all of that's important. All of that is, we promise to give. So I want to be very clear. All of that is in your back office. There is hours and hours and hours. There's 12 years worth of content back there that's going to teach you, and we update it, and the relevant ones are on top, and you can go back in our historical archives. But hear me on this. If a how-to was the only thing that someone needed to succeed, then every single member at TW3 would already be millionaires. Now, some are, but most aren't. Some have this level of success, a little success. Some have this level of success. Some have, I mean, they're just knocking it out. Some ain't even got off the floor yet. There's a wide, as diverse of a group of people we have is the diversity of what people's results are. So why aren't people reaching their goals? Why does 98% of home-based businesses fail? Why does most people that try to start a New Year's resolution fail? Why is it that losing weight, getting in shape, why is it that goals in general are difficult? I will tell you, and I'm a victim of this just as much as anyone else, I'll tell you, it's because people ask the wrong question. I want to know how. I want to know how. Tell me how. Tell me how. And I'm seeking that first, rather than asking 4 questions that if I would ask them this first, if I'd ask these 4 questions first, I promise you, you're going to get going faster, quicker. Things are going to come to light. The learning process is going to be easier. The resistance is going to be less. You're going to gain more traction quicker, faster, and have a much more enjoyable experience of experiencing your goals being fulfilled if you will ask these 4 questions first before you even worry about the how-to. In essence, I want to give you permission to dream for just a moment. Now, I know we've got A-type personalities. I know because as a practitioner of the Myers-Briggs instrument, I know that the judging function, the cognitive function of judging, there's some people that are value-based here, and they're going to be okay with this, but the logic-based people are like, I'm not, listen, you logical, you Mr. Spock out there, it's got to be, I've got to see the X's and the O's before I believe it. Give me a moment, and this will make sense. You're about to see the logical reason why you have to do this first. But you got to dream, and you got to ask 4 questions that allow yourself to dream, but so that the how-to that you're getting to has more meaning, it makes a greater impact, and you actually learn quicker. So there's 4 questions you have to ask if you want to accomplish anything. Question number 1, what do you want? What do I want? What do I want? Now, here's the reason why, Elite member and TW3 trainer that watches this later. If I assume someone's coming to me because they want money, then my coaching and the information that I'm giving them and the way I'm telling them to look at this and look at this and look at this in the back office is all going to be geared about money, which might be important to them, but it might not be the most important thing. Maybe the most important thing is time, and they need to leverage their time because they're working this full-time job of 60, 80 hours a week, 40 hours, whatever, and time is of the essence. So time is a driver. I want to start my own side hustle. I want to be independent. I want to have my freedom, but time is more important. So I'm putting this in the context of TW3, but you guys are Elite members. You're training people. Maybe you're training them in health. So if you're training them in health, what's more, if I assume it's weight loss and it's not, well, I've got high blood pressure or I've got diabetes or I'm borderline or I've got this or that, then I'm prescribing things and coaching people in a way that might be missing the goal. For you who are listening to this to internalize it for yourself, the reason why you need to know what you want is so that when training and information is starting to be brought to you, your mind, you've conditioned your mind to say, well, wait a minute, that's talking about time and I'm about money. So I'm not paying attention to that right now. I'm focused in on this. Oh, that's talking about money and I need to how to leverage these tools about time, or that's talking about diabetes and I'm not diabetic, I just need to lose weight. In other words, if you ask the question, what do I want, get real specific, when information about how to starts coming, you're training your mind to filter out what's important and what's not so that you're not wasting your time. You see how this is working, guys? You see how this makes sense? If I ask, what do I want first? What I want? What do I want? Okay, I want to work three hours a day, and I want to build a business that nets me $200,000 a year in income. Okay, then I get back in the TW3 office, and okay, step 2, I need to be able to do this, and this in my blog. Over here in step 4, I need to design the funnel, this, and this, because I only want this time, and so this part needs to be automated. And all of a sudden, the training comes alive to you. You've got to do that for your clients. So number 1, what do I want? Number 2, why do I have to have it? Very important. TW3 elite member, coach, trainer. Even if you're not selling TW3, maybe you're selling another package. Make your client articulate this before you allow them to become a client, before they send you money, before they send you cash, before they say, okay, I want to do this with you, whether it's selling them TW3, selling them something else that you're offering. Make them articulate, why do I have to have it? And then push back. Now, I'm asking you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, why do you have to have it? I didn't say, why do you want it? I didn't want to say, why is this a dream? Why is this an ambition? Why? I'm asking you, why do you have to have it? So as an example, client comes to me and say, Terry, I'd like to make $250,000 a year. I've only got 3 hours a day to put toward this. And I'm wondering if your program can help me get there. The answer is yes. You told me what you want. Great. Let me ask you this. Why do you have to have it? Well, I make $50,000 now, but I just have this dream that one day, wouldn't it be nice? I'd love to go on vacation and just have the margin in my life. That's my goal. Okay. So what I just heard you say is that's your goal. That's a dream. That's an ambition. But do you have to have it? Well, no, but that's why we're talking about goals and dreams. That's why I'm getting involved with you, the customer might say. And so I say this. Okay, let me put it another way. I show you this program. You told me what you want. I get you a system in place that will do this, will accomplish this. But let's say 6 months, a year, whatever your deadline is to start hitting this metric, to be on pace to do this, you don't meet it. Are you okay with that? Is that acceptable? And more importantly, do you accept responsibility for it? Well, yeah, I'm cool with that because if it don't make it, it's fine. Okay, so you don't, what you just told me, client, just hear me on this. I'm just trying to figure out, what do you have to have? Why do you have to have it? Why do you have to have it? Because so far, what you've told me is you have to have, why you have to have $50,000 a year is because that's what you're making now. So you've got to replace that income. That's why. And you can't survive. Listen, you see what I'm getting at? So even if they're going from 50 to 250, and they could say this, I have to have this because that's my goal. That's my dream. That's where I've got to get my lifestyle back up to here because I want to be here. This is why I have to. And in other words, okay, are you going to be okay? No, it won't be okay if I don't have this in a year. Okay, great. So you have to have this. This is why you have to have it. So let me ask you this. I'm cool with that. You said a year. You said you have to have it. You've given me why, that you've got 3 kids and you're only doing this and you're barely getting by and you don't have time. You have got to have this so that you've got more time, you got more money, you're able to enjoy the lifestyle. I understand the why now. I accept it. So once you, really push back, get them to why I have to have this, why I have it. Then I'm going to ask you, do you believe it's possible? Do you believe you can do it? Do you believe that this system with you, based on what you know, is possible? Do you believe this program? And then you stop. If you're looking at this and you're not coming from a coaching perspective, if you're looking at anything you're doing in a goal scenario, you have to ask yourself, do you believe you can do whatever it is you're wanting to do? Do you believe you can lose weight? Do you believe you can accomplish this goal? Do you believe that you can have whatever it is that you're going after? Because if you don't believe it's possible, you will circumvent and quit the minute it gets too painful. What do you want? Why do you have to have it? Do you believe it's possible? Fourth and finally, are you willing to do what it takes? If you will ask yourself that question, if it's a goal that you're going after, if you will make your clients answer those questions, if you're helping coaching clients, here's what's going to happen. It's amazing. The how-to just magically appears to people, because what's happening psychologically is you're conditioning the mind to, number one, see what's relevant to me. Number two, be motivated to do it, because this is why I've got to have it. I'm fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my income. Whatever those whys are. Simon Sinek says, unless you have a strong why, you will not have a strong try. Your try is only as strong as your why. If I have a weak why, I have a weak try. That's why people give up on themselves, because they never ask themselves, why am I doing this? I know what I want to do, but why? And if I don't understand why, then I don't have the motivation to try. So once I understand why, I believe it's possible. I speak life and encouragement in myself. I surround myself. I put headphones on, listen to a podcast. I come to TW3 and get trained and inspired. And then I commit to myself, my coach, and everyone, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this happen. What you will find magically appears. It's just amazing to me. And the reason there's case study after case study after case study, all of these names that you hear on the podcast every week, from Misspelling Bee to Miller Time to Captain Quackenbush, Greenbacks, Linda the Legend, Tom from Chi-Town, they all have a common denominator. They all come from different areas of the country. They all come from different backgrounds, different industries, different temperaments, different personalities, different age groups, different ethnicities, different worldviews. They come from, just as diverse of a people group you could have, but they all have this common denominator that they've succeeded. And the reason is because they knew what they wanted to do. They knew why they wanted to do it. They believed it was possible, and they didn't quit until they saw it through. Tom fighting cancer, Mark fighting cancer, Miller Time coming back from a terrible situation in his family and having his family and his business disrupted. Greenbacks coming from the same situation, having to fight back and claw back his way to a professional life after life had thrown him a curveball. Linda the Legend having to find a way to do things. Misspelling Bee having corporate shutdowns. Bam Bam from the left coast fighting through all different scenarios. They all had this one common denominator, and I know I'm leaving people out, but they all at one time was frustrated with the how-to. I don't understand how to build this funnel the right way. I don't know how to get this ad copy to work the right way. And we have training after training after training, but the reason they don't quit and the reason they got there quicker, the reason why, Mark came on and made his first sale in a week or two. Misspelling Bee didn't take that long. Greenbacks, sold a system, I think, before he became a member. It was just a Miller Time in his first year, made over $250,000 for TW3. Didn't sell TW3, just using the training and the tools to start his own other business. What's the scenario here? Why? How is that possible? How does that happen? It wasn't because, did they have questions about how to? Absolutely. Were they frustrated because it wasn't coming? They got the manual, they got the training video, they got all this, they got the same thing everybody else has got. Then how? Because if it was the personalities are different, educations are different, Backgrounds are different. Everything about all this whole group of people are different. Yet they have this one thing that they're winning. It's because those 4 questions were asked and resolved in their mind before they took off. They might not have articulated it that way. They might not even thought about it that way, but they had been wrestling with life. They've been wrestling with angels and say, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. They walking with limp just like I am. I wrote a book, You Were Worth More, because my whole scenario, but that was the reason why. My how-to, my what I want, why I want it, believing it's possible and committing to do it before, you've got to help your clients get to the same place. Les Brown says you got to be hungry. The good book says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst, not those who eat and happy and full and filled. There's got to be a hunger. Once you ask the right questions, the how-to magically appears, and then you can accomplish any goal you want. Anything you're after, you can have, because you're seeking the right questions first. You're asking the right questions first. You're conditioning your mind. This is a mind hack. What you're getting, you're getting a deep level psychological mind hack of how your mind works and how you can ask yourself, because people say all the time, I can't control how I think. Yes, you can. You want to control how you think? Then entertain the right questions, because all thoughts are questions that you allow yourself to entertain. Start asking yourself the right questions, you'll start entertaining the right thoughts. And as a man thinketh, so is he.
Can't guarantee you success, but he sure can help you eliminate the excuses made so far for not achieving them. Now back to the TW3 studio with Terry Wilson.
All right, so we're back. Let's go ahead and join Terry with his interview with Russell Crute.
Well, guys, tonight I am on the phone with, it just feels like family around here. I'm looking across the table at my boys, and now I get to interview one of the funniest people I know from my past. This gentleman, we were in high school band together, and every time I think of this gentleman, I laugh just because he was just so entertaining, and it's just he's one of these people that's just life-giving. When you're around him, you just feel encouraged, you feel inspired, and he brings a smile to your face. And boy, isn't it a time period right now that if you can be around people that bring life and can bring a smile to your face, you want them in your purview. So anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce to our audience Russell Crute. Russell, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Terry. How are you today?
Man, I'm better now that I'm talking to you. Dude, I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know if it was band camp. I don't know where, I don't know the situation, but we're out there, we're holding attention. And one of the upper class people, I think, that already graduated and came back, they had a little power go to their head, and they were cracking the whip, and you had made a quip about this person looking like the Penguin. And I think the entire lower brass section just had to run that night because you had us in stitches.
Yeah, man, our band days were pretty loaded with fun. I mean, it was one of the great times. I enjoyed the band. One of the highlights is Friday nights. I mean, getting ready for the football game, everybody's getting their uniforms together and just talking, going back and forth, having a little fun before we have to go out and do our show for that Friday night. And I mean, it was almost like comic relief sometimes, because a lot of times with band, you're there to have fun, but it could get serious at times, and sometimes you just need a little comedic relief. And I remember those days. They were great days and great people.
Dude, you brought the comic relief nonstop. I mean, it was just hysterical. And, I, to this day, I laugh at some of the things I remember you doing and saying, and it was a good time. I don't know at the time if I realized how much fun I was having, but I look back on all of that time and just smile. It just brings warmth to me when I see and hear from you. Isn't that amazing how on the radio or you see a face or you hear a voice and it just takes you back to a time and place before?
Yeah, man, it like puts you in the moment. Like you can hear a song and it could take you to that exact moment. It's almost like now I watched the Cobra Kai Netflix remake, and just like when they do the flashbacks, it takes you back to being a kid watching the original Karate Kid, and it's like nostalgic.
I'm telling you, nostalgia is powerful, isn't it?
It takes you back to the exact moment. It's almost like you can listen to a song or see a movie and remember exactly what you were doing the exact time you first heard that song or first seen that movie.
Yeah. The only problem is, that same psychological dynamic that brings warmth and comfort can also torture people at times. 'Cause sometimes something will trigger people and what they're seeing is not causing the panic or the anxiety or the frustration, but it took them back to a place and a time that they felt that. And that's one of the difficult things of getting people motivated and inspired to try again, do something for themselves, encourage people to try that side hustle, to do this thing. And a lot of people are very weary of it at times because, honestly, most people have tried and failed.
I agree. And I can just talk about some of the my journey. I've early on, about a decade ago, almost, I started my first business. I had no clue about, quote unquote, the ins and outs of business. I just knew I had a food business. I made pretty good food. I worked in restaurants before, and I could do this. And it was just like, when that didn't work for me, it was just like falling flat on your face. All your friends and family know you started this thing, and you, it's almost like you flop right in front of them. But once you can get away from that burn, it's a deep burn of that failure, like failing in front of people. It's almost like you're in high school and you're walking down the steps in the commentary and you trip and fall in front of everybody. You know what I mean? It's just that feeling that it touches your soul. It's deep. It's a deep feeling. But I just tell people some of that lesson and some of the lessons I've learned, it definitely makes you stronger. You just, you get over that first burn. So the next burn, and most people in business or try business, they know that there's a lot of failure. So once you get over that first burn, I mean, that soul-touching burn of failure, the next one, if you fail again, you may get lucky on the next try and you succeed. But if you don't, that burn's not going to be as deep as the last one. It's almost like your first girlfriend. She breaks your heart. Oh my God, you crumble. But you recoup the next girlfriend if that doesn't work out, and she breaks your heart. The burn is not as hard. So I just tell people to continue to push forward. I mean, that's all you can do is push forward, because if you stay in one position, you're just going to continue to be stuck. Time's going to go on regardless. That's just like one of those things. So at least you can be working on things and trying to progress as time moves forward versus staying still in one position.
That's true. That's so true. I think sometimes we lull ourselves into this thought that the status quo is less painful than the opportunity lost. And that might work for a day, it might work for a week, but then as time passes, regret starts building up more and more. And eventually, years go by, decades go by, and then all of a sudden, what if, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and nothing was ever done because you're trying to mitigate the feelings of anxiety and trying to keep yourself from, dreaming and losing, trying and failing. It does hurt to try to do something and it not work out. But I want to encourage people as listening to us today, what's more painful, trying and failing, or never trying at all and then being so full of regret later on in life?
That's so true. It's one thing I try to tell people is with regards to trying and failing, it's almost like working out in the gym. You go to the gym the first day, you work out, you're sore, you're just like, oh, I don't want to go back. But if you can dig deep and get your mindset together and you go back and you start to notice at the end of the week, oh, I'm not as sore as this week. At the end of the month, I'm not as sore as I was when I first started. And as you progress, that entrepreneurial muscle gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And I just tell people just try to push forward with regards to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Always push forward. Try to build good habits. There's a lot of people who want to be an entrepreneur, but they're working a job. So I say, okay, you want to build good habits while you're on your job, because if you have poor habits on a job, you're going to have poor habits on your business. Those are going to go hand in hand.
That's right.
If you're currently working a job, set little goals to where you can win. So say, for instance, you're a person who's tardy a lot or you call out a lot. Say, okay, this month I'm not going to miss any days. I'm going to come in on time. I'm going to clock in on time. I'm going to give 100% because those are the little habits that you're going to need when you go out on your own, because when you go out on your own, it's going to be tougher because you're not going to have a supervisor telling you to do this and do that. You're going to have to do it on your own. So I just say, if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur and you want to work on a business get a side hustle while you work your job, while you're on your job, start building those habits that you're going to need for your business. Whether you struggle with getting up and getting to work on time, set a goal, say, hey, this month I'm going to show up. I'm not going to call out any days this week. I'm going to show up on time every day. I'm going to give 100% because when you're working for yourself, you're not going to you can't give 100%. You got to give 200%. You got to give over. Your cup has to run over. So if you do come up short, it's not as short as you think. You have to do above and beyond when you're working for yourself versus working for an employer. You go to your job and you don't feel like having a productive week this week, it's fine. But when you're in business, the more weeks you don't have productive weeks, you're going to find yourself out of business.
That's right. Now, you're right, because when you're working for someone else, well, you're just the employee. But when you're working for yourself, you're both the employer and the employee. You've taken on two roles. So you're right. You're working 200% now. And that,
you're going to have to work. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And the biggest thing is, too, another point I want to hit is just staying positive. Surround yourself with some positive people. Sometimes it's just a matter of, like this podcast. It's a great podcast to listen to. If you're not surrounded by entrepreneurial-minded people, listen to the podcast. Zone out all of the what I call employee worker bee attitudes, because you're getting ready to go on a journey and a mission that an employee they can't process it. They can't fathom that they can take the skills and the knowledge that they have and create something for themselves. They just know that they can do these tasks for a paycheck. So sometimes you just gotta withdraw from people, and it's gonna hurt. You may have to withdraw for some friends and family, but at the end of the day, it's your goals, it's your life, it's the future you want to build. So you have to put the things in place that's gonna get you closer to where you want to reach in life with regards to your goals and dreams and aspirations.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, you've got to set boundaries, and Russell, you've probably heard the old the metaphor or saying that how do you keep a crab in a bucket. You ever heard that one? If you throw a crab,
I've heard crabs in the bucket.
Yeah, well, how you keep a crab in a pail or a bucket is you just throw one more crab in there and they'll pull each other down. Neither one of them ever gets out. And so the environment that you're in, you've got to be able to put boundaries around yourself. If you've got a dream, if you've got a goal, if you've got an ambition that you're trying to pursue, it is imperative that you only allow people that speak life to speak into. You might have to be around people. I mean, sometimes you just can't control your environment that you're in, but you can control whether you're going to take in what they're saying. I mean, you just have to.
That is correct. I mean, you have to, and you also gotta, to me, you also have to know how to, it's like a filter. Every day we meet people, we run across conversations. You got to know what conversations you want to allow to filter into your consciousness and then into your subconsciousness. Sometimes you got to have like a negative repellent on your brain to just sort of let that go over your head, and then you engage with the people, but you can't let that soak in. And one of the biggest things I see with regards to just being positive is this 2020. This has been a rough year for everyone.
Yeah.
But what I discourage is people to speak grief over their life. Everyone's going through something. But for a person or anyone listening to the show, if you're listening to the show, you got one advantage over a lot of people. You're alive, you're breathing, you got a sound mind, you can comprehend. Don't speak unnecessary grief over your life when you can. It's just as easy to say I'm having a good day as it is I'm having a bad day. I'd rather say I'm having a good day.
Absolutely. Well, because of your psychological background and working with people with mental health and things like that, the words you use condition your mind to sort of filter out what you're going to look at. If I'm always saying this and thinking this, then all of a sudden my mind perceives those things. It's that old, have you ever bought a new car? Like I remember back in 2005, Chrysler came out with those new Chrysler 300s. And boy, the new design was just the bomb diggity, right? Had that real chopped off front look with the chrome grille and all that. Well, man, I had to have one. And I bought one. And as soon as I bought that stupid thing, it seemed like everybody on the road had one. And I didn't notice that until after I had one. What your vocabulary and your lexicon and the words you use and the attitudes you keep is the same thing. What you possess, you recognize in other. So if all you see is negative, if all you see is the downtrodden, if all you see is why you can't, why you shouldn't, then that is a psychological sort of red flag saying, hey, I see that because that's what's in me. And that's when because there's these underlying things going on in your, in the faith world, we call it your soul. In the psychological world, you call it your subconscious. Whatever you want to call it, use your vocabulary. But that's why what Russell's giving you tonight, guys, is so important. You've got to keep good stuff, good vibes, good positive information, not puffery. I'm not saying, deny that there's problems out there or, act like, we've got a saying at TW3, we're positive, but we're not Pollyannish. You have to recognize the situation on the ground, but you don't have to partake in it because you're there to look to see, okay, this is the problem. This is the problem. Okay, let me go get some solutions for this because it's the problem solvers that get paid. So, but that's why I wanted to reach out to Russell tonight, man. You were just so positive. For the guys in the listening audience, I posted something back on Thursday, and basically the question was this. I said, what's the biggest lesson 2020 has taught you so far? And I would say the lion's share of people that responded, and I'm not making a judgment, I understand why, but the lion's share of people, it was a heavy lesson. It was a negative. It was, don't trust anyone. How much time you got? Because life is crap. There's a lot of negative stuff. And then, of course, it got off in the politics in some areas and different things. But the overarching attitude was negative. And then here comes Russell, my buddy from my hometown and high school friend. It's taught me I'm in more control than I thought. Even with 2020 being all over the place, I'm still reaching the goals I've set. Still more work to do, but all anyone can do is keep moving forward. God provides our needs. It's up to us to go and get the rest. Loved it. Loved it. I said, boy, that just spoke life to me. I said, I'm going to reach out to Russell.
It's true, because even though this year has been a tough year, but I would encourage any of the listeners that's of age, that's of working age, go back to 2007, 2008, 2009. Without the quote-unquote coronavirus or COVID-19, the same economic downturn happened, minus the virus. So people went through that again, and I just tell people, if you're listening to this now and you're of age, you survived that. So if you survive that, you can push forward through this. And I just don't like to see people speaking grief over their life, because if you take all of 2020 just to speak how bad it is, what do you think your 2021 is going to be?
That's right.
It's like you're walking into it. It's like, here's a big old area that says grief. And it's just like every day when you speak grief over your life, you're taking one step towards it. Next thing you know, you're going to be engulfed in it. And it's just like, it's so much out here that's going for people, things that you can be doing. And why speak grief over your life? If you are a person that has had grief happen to them, it's a lot of people. I went to a funeral this year where the family had to have a graveside service where everyone couldn't attend.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, those things happen, but you can't speak grief over your life. If you're going to spend and we got about, 4 more months of 2020. If you're going to spend the rest of this year speaking about grief over your life in 2020, don't be surprised what happens in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, what he's saying, he's not saying ignore the issues or pretend it's not there. No, he's just saying reframe it. Yeah, there's problems, but we seek solutions and we put things in context. This is where I'm at, but this is not where I'm staying. There's a better tomorrow. And I've heard it said, and I repeat it now, because after you repeat what someone else said 3 times, you get on it. So I can say, I've always said, but it's true. You can't leave wrong and come in right. And what that means is you can't leave the area that your former employment, your former community, your areas back here. You can't leave that wrong and think you're going to come into this new thing right. You can't leave wrong and come in right. You've got to deal with what's wrong here so you can go in right. And the best way to do that is put things in historical context, put things in psychological context, but contextualize your life. Before we came on here, I was telling Russell, I said, more millionaires was made in the Great Depression than ever before. And then he was telling me all of these businesses that were born and birthed out of the 07, 08 Great Recession, Netflix and all these other companies. And I said, I didn't even think about that, but you're right. That's the reason we wrote the book, Warning, Opportunities Ahead, and had that training. And I gave where I helped a lady back down in Georgia and made money helping her, didn't charge her a dime, and gave her all kinds of help. And there's opportunity. The more problems you see, the way the entrepreneur needs to frame this is, the more problems I see, the more opportunities I have to bring solutions to those problems. And if I can bring solutions to a problem, I've created value. And if I've created value, I've justified compensation. And so you want to increase your income, you want to increase what you're making, you want to do better for your family, you want to do better for your community, then seek solutions to problems, and they're out there. And if you need help with that, that's what we do at TW3. We've got a whole office full of a suite of solutions to help people in different industries. Well, I've kept Russell here longer than I told him I would, but I did want to ask him, just a shameless plug. You read my book. What did you think about You Are Worth More, Russell?
You Are Worth More. I read that book. I would challenge any of the listeners, if they do not have the book, to get the book and read it. And when I say I read it twice. The first time I read it, the second time I read it, almost like I was reading a textbook for a course or a class. And when I tell you, it brought a fire, like that old fire that I had when I was speaking earlier with regards to start my first business. It brought back that old fire. Not really it was more the mindset fire. And it just like touched me. And I messaged Terry, and I was just like, this book, it's got me up all night. I can't go to sleep. It's just like it's got my mindset going. It's just it was almost like a battery booster. It was just like boom. It just came at the right time, and I read it, and it's a great book for anyone. I'll tell you what it did for me. For someone who was entrepreneurially in a slump as far as my mindset, it was a booster. It was just like boom, that fire's going. It's just like, I can do this. I can do this. And anyone listening, you can do this. You just gotta stay positive and just remember, like Terry's saying, we're in a solution-based society. Craziest thing, so I'm much longer I'll be on this call. I'm at my home. My wife ordered groceries from this place called Instacart. 10 years ago, no one would have had groceries delivered. Even the grocery stores didn't have anything in place to deliver groceries. So at the most, you could probably do curbside pickup.
Right.
Places where you could order and do solution-based. This is a time where people are looking for solutions to their problems. Prime example, the Zoom app or WebEx. Those were just apps that were out there. Now, this time last year, Zoom and WebEx was just an app floating around. If you knew about it, you knew about it. If you didn't, you didn't. Now they are a necessity.
It's an essential part of communication in business, isn't it?
It's almost like a necessity. So I would challenge any of the listeners. If you are, say for instance, someone may say, well, I'm unemployed. I understand bills have to be paid and family has to be taken care of, but take this time. If you are unemployed or not in a place where you want to be, use that time to think of solutions, because there's problems out there and they need solutions. And Zoom and WebEx is one. Instacart is one. These are companies 50 to 100 years from now, people are going to write books about how they emerged through this crisis.
Absolutely. Well, and I tell you, there's no better time to be in the online space in the solution business, because there's a huge migration going on in corporate America, where a lot of big companies are figuring out, hey, it actually costs less and we're more efficient for our employees to be working remotely. And so that's a huge migration that was spurred on and compelled by COVID-19. But I think that some of what we are experiencing in the business world is probably going to stick around, just because I think less and less which is going to hurt the travel industry some, because you don't have business class. I've got a friend of mine, neighbor, who's on the show a lot, Michael. He hasn't traveled or flown all year, and he used to fly every week. He was in some other state and city helping a hospital, and now he's doing everything via Zoom because of COVID-19 and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of changes that's happened to our country and specifically in business and how you do business. And there's no better time to be a solution provider to the business market like we are at TW3 than right now. I mean, that's why we've been on this growth pattern since COVID. We were doing great out of the gates, and then when COVID-19 hit, we had a huge spike. simply because people were needing solutions to do their own marketing. People were needing solutions for a CRM. People were needing business opportunities because of downsizing and stuff. So all of those things that the market needed, we were just strategically positioned to be able to help. So that was a fun time. So, Russell, welcome to the family. He's one of our newest elite trainers and members here at TW3. So we're privileged to have him and his background and his experience. And I can't wait to see what he's going to be doing in the coming weeks, days, and months.
I would just say, last thing, Terry, for your audience, I would just let them know, don't give up on those dreams. And if you gave up on them, a lot of people write down dreams and goals, go find those old notebooks. Digging, if you're terminology for DJs, they call it digging in the crates where they're looking through their records.
Yeah.
Go dig through those old notebooks and look at those old dreams that you had that you sort of put to the side. Go back and read over them and think about them. Go back and pull that information back up. You'll be surprised how that fire start burning, because at one point my entrepreneurial flame was at a pilot light. I read that you're worth more, and it just like somebody threw ether or gasoline all over. It was just like, boom, it was like all over my body. I had to message Terry and just like, dude, this book is powerful, because it was just like, it took a pilot light and turned into like a bonfire.
Well, that's the most rewarding thing I've heard all day, Russell. If I can encourage anybody and inspire anybody to dig into the old crates, as you said, and pull out some of the classics that they grew up with and know that they're supposed to be turning and dancing to, then I've done my job, and I'm fulfilling what I'm supposed to do here on planet Earth while I'm here. But it was an absolute privilege to have you on the show tonight. I hope this won't be the first time. Can I call on you again if I need you?
You can call me anytime, Terry. Anytime. I mean, we can always talk, have a good conversation. Like I said, we talk old Band-Aids and things like that. And for your listeners, let you know that Mr. Wilson was one of the greatest trombone players ever heard play.
Oh, come on now.
He introduced me to a group that I never heard of, and I can remember to this day. It was called Chicago, and they had a song. I think it was 25. God, what's the name?
25 or 6 to 4.
6 to 4.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of them, but Terry Wilson put me on to those.
Dude, I tell you what, playing that horn back in the day, it was a fun time. I don't know if I was the greatest, but I enjoyed it. I was just an old hack. You'll get a kick out of this because you remember our band director. He had some proclivities to cut a joke from time to time. And we were in the band room. I don't know if you were there when he said it to me, but he came up to me one time. He says, Terry, sometimes I hear you play that horn and it's like smooth milk chocolate coming out of that bell. And other times it sounds like a dinosaur flatulating in a bucket. Of course, he used a different word.
Like piano falling down a flight of stairs or something like that.
Oh, he had a way with words, didn't he? Oh, Brian Williams. I miss him so much. But anyway, well, Russell, thanks for being on the show tonight. And we're going to be back right after this break. Well, it does seem like from the mid-'70s to the mid-'80s, you were singing background just about for everyone. I mean, it's a who's who list.
It's weird because during that period of time, it was just sort of when what we now refer to as West Coast music was just picking up. And a lot of it had to do with Toto. A lot of it had to do with Foster. I happened to be in the middle of it.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you, you don't want to miss our live podcast coming up October the 12th at 9 p.m. We're scheduled to play my interview with a longtime hero of mine. I've loved his music for years. I've loved the band he's been in. The lead singer for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame group Chicago, Bill Champlin, will be here in the TW3 studios. We recorded the interview, and I tell you, we went over a ton of stuff. And you're saying, well, Terry, this is a business show. Well, I'm telling you, to create wealth, to create products, takes creativity and artistry. And what better way to illustrate the creativity and the artistry required to go to the top levels then a Grammy Award, double Grammy Award winning vocalist, artist, musician. Been in the game for a long time. He's got a lot of insights, and I can't wait to share that live interview I had with him with you this coming October the 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You've loved his music. You've loved it for years. Now you get to hear straight from the artist that created it, wrote it, sung it, and bringing it to you to show you how you can take your money, your business, and your life to new levels.
I was at the White House one time, and Hillary Clinton walked by me, and I just happened to say, "Nice shack you got here." And she looked at me and she said, "It's amazing what you can get with public housing these days."
Don't laugh. It just encourages them.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
That's the one I wanted.
I don't even understand how you don't know what those buttons do. There's only 8.
There's only 8 buttons. I should name them or something. But anyway, what a great show tonight, guys. Thank all of you for coming out. I know we're running just a tad bit long, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to, I hope you got a ton out of tonight. I'm telling you what I just told you in segment 2. If you implement, you can have anything you want. And you heard the story of Russell and what he's gone and done in his life and what he's doing right now. It's never too late to pursue what you want. It never is. So make sure that you do that and go after it. Don't worry about it. So are you texting me or do I need to do something? Oh, okay. Okay.
Is our business channels responding?
I'm seeing text. I was like, am I supposed to say something I'm not saying? Okay. Yeah. So, boys, what are you going to do while we're going out to Montana? Are y'all going to behave?
Probably not. But I think we're going to go look at skateboards today. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Both of you?
Mm-hmm. Oh. We're going to get longboards.
Can you do me a favor?
Don't injure him because you don't have insurance, that normal thing.
Just don't do anything until I get back.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I have insurance, so I can get hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got life insurance on him, but
so if he's gonna get hurt, kill him. Got it.
Treat him like a horse. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just
laying on the ground. I just pick him up.
Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful. A worrying father. You know,
it's longboard, so
because I hear that some of the areas are going to be Big Sky and Glacier doesn't have sail. Ooh.
Welcome home gift.
And so I need you guys keep everything on the down low.
What did I say? Did I say skateboards?
Yeah.
We're getting pillows.
Yes. That's what I want to hear from my boys. I don't want to hear them trying to kill themselves while mom and dad are.
I'm an extra firm guy myself.
We'll be back next.
That was an accident.
That was an accident. October the 12th. Join us as I interview Grammy Award winning artist and former lead singer of the Hall of Fame.
Hall & Oates.
I almost said Hall & Oates. It's hard for me to say.
Got Daryl Hall.
I got Daryl Hall. That was one of the questions I asked him. When are you going to Daryl's house? Hall of Fame rock and roll artist Bill Champlin is going to be. He's the Grammy Award winner and the band that he used to lead, the group Chicago. So I think you're going to enjoy it. A lot of business lessons, a lot of cool things, and it's just fun to hear the stories, the backstories of some of the songs and things that you've probably, like me, grown up hearing your whole life. So it's fun to hear those. So until next time, we will see you guys later.
Thank you for listening to TerryWilson3.com today. If you've decided you are worth more, then go to TerryWilson3.com now and get a free digital sample copy of the book. You are worth more. Listen, no one's going to give you what you're worth but you. So stop putting off and get started earning, enjoying, and experiencing what you are worth today. Go to TerryWilson3.com now to start your journey today. That's TerryWilson3.com.